everybody, it is April, and today we are going to make it modern. I have not done modern quilting before. I'm not even sure I really knew what modern quilting was. However, I was perusing the Craftsy platform and I ran across a video that showed me how to make a modern quilt block. Spoiler alert, Craftsy is sponsoring this video. Now, a modern block or quilt seems to be a quilt or a quilt block that has more negative space. On the Craftsy platform, now maybe you don't even know what Craftsy is. Craftsy is a membership-based community, and within that community there are classes on all kinds of crafting. Paper crafting, knitting, crocheting, just anything you can think of, you can find a class on Craftsy. So I was watching Fresh Quilting, which is a class on quilting, and within season 3 they covered multiple topics. One of the topics was by Ebony Love, and she went over how to take a traditional quilt block and make it modern. That sounded very interesting to me. What we are going to do today is we are going to take maybe not quite a traditional quilt block, but we're going to take the Crazy 8 quilt block and we are going to make it modern. If you are interested in becoming a member of Craftsy, you definitely need to be one of the first 1,000 people to click on the link below. When you click on that link, you will get a 1-year premium membership to Craftsy for $1.49. That's right, $1.49. This is only available to new members. Now, what else can you find for $1.49 that will help you learn about different interesting crafts, different techniques, maybe about a craft that you already participate in? Or it could be something that you're interested in but haven't done because you don't know how to do it. Craftsy is the place for you to go. You have names that you will recognize teaching classes about those different crafts. So again, be one of the first 1,000 people to click on the link below and you will get a full year premium membership to Craftsy for $1.49. New members only. So let's get started on making this quilt block modern. So first, let me share with you how we are going to take these multiple rulers and cut out the different pieces of our block. So what makes your quilt block modern isn't necessarily the layout of your quilt block, but the colors in your quilt block. Again, like I said before, modern quilts tend to have more negative space. So what I want to do is make the majority of these cuts of fabric that make up our block the same color, and then throw in another one of the pieces, like this small piece, with just a pop of color. Let me show you what I am talking about. Let's start with how we might traditionally piece this Crazy 8 quilt block. This is it. So there are different colors. Some of them are the same, but you have all the colors, all different colors filling in this quilt block. Now, if you wanted to make it modern, then you would have the background colors that are similar, and you would have just this one pop of color. This is all negative space for your block, and this is where your eye is drawn. Another pop of color or modern block could be this modern block, where here you've got your background fabric, that's your negative space, and you've got these two blocks which add your pop of color. Let me show you the fabrics that I have to do this. Of course, I only have a couple. So here is one of the fabrics. I got these when we went to Whittles, and I went through that store and found every version of this that I could. This is almost like a salmon, like you would see a salmon. So it starts out with blue on the top and then goes to a pink. How cool is that? And then I have another one that starts out, I'm going to do it backwards here, as yellow on the top and goes to a darker yellow. And then I have a green. I think I got 2 yards of each of these. Okay, so this is a true ombre. It goes from a lighter green to a darker green. And I thought these would be really cool. Now, do I want to just do it with one? I don't know. And will it look good with the gray? I think the yellow will. I think the brighter the color, the better it's gonna look. And then this is one of those that goes from a dark to a light to a dark. And then I've got this pink, and it also goes from a light pink to a darker pink. So I have to decide, should I start out the easy way or should I start out the hard way? We'll just have to play that one by ear. These are all by Riley Blake. So here you go from yellow to light yellow to light blue to dark blue. I think those kind are my favorite. And then here's another blue. I probably have some duplicates, I don't know. And it goes I've got it backwards, but from dark to green to almost a gold to green. Aren't those cool? I really like those. Now, would those look good with the gray? That is the next thing that we have to figure out. I have cut out several of these pieces while preparing for this video. So I'm going to share with you the technique that I used for cutting them out and what to do when you have an issue. It wouldn't be an April video without an issue, now would? The way that I cut out my pieces is I took fabric that I had on my comic book board and I unrolled it. When I first started cutting out these pieces, I was, for some reason, under the impression that I would have to cut them out in the layout of the block. Now, I don't know why I thought this, but I did. So I was thinking, okay, I'm just going to cut out a strip and then cut out these pieces. So that is how I started. So let's take my ruler And then I know that I also wanted some of the gray because I'm going to have probably more gray than I actually do the color. So let's take these pieces off. So what I will do is I will stack these two, one on top of the other. And I placed everything and then cut it out, which, you know, was fine. So let's see, I can scoot this further over. I'm going to go ahead and just slice that. Put that out of the way. I could use a rotating cutting mat, but it really isn't necessary. If you have a ruler that is good about adhering or lying on top of your fabric without moving, and Creative Grids has just that kind of ruler. Okay, so here I've got my C, and then to be as efficient as possible, I want to go along the straight line because I don't want to waste fabric if it can be helped. So I'll bring this here so I can separate it. And here, and here. And then there and here. Go this way. It does make it easier when you can use both hands. Okay, so let me line this up better. Okay, so we've got the A piece, then and Oliver's joining us. He's been hanging out outside a lot, so he's been kind of ignoring me, haven't you, buddy? So I'm going to cut my E. I am just struggling with cutting. Okay, so here we've got the E, and last but not least, we've got our D. And this worked out just fine, but then I got a little tired of cutting all this fabric and thought I need to be more efficient. Okay. And I also realized that you do not have to cut the pieces out like the block, because these individual pieces can be used to cut out scrap fabric. So it's not like you have to leave your individual rulers that make up the one block in the order that they are in the block. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to get fancy, and I am so smart that I'm going to stack these on top of one another, and that way I'm not wasting my time. Do you ever get that way where you think you're smarter than you really are? I experience that quite often. All right, so here I've got my stacks, and I just tried to be very efficient in the way that I was cutting them. Just like here, I can get them all the way across. Here I've got my E, because I've got a fold over here. Let's see, and actually it probably ends up working out better when you do keep them in the order that they were. Let's see, my D is not, here we go. Ah, yes, there's the Oliver we all know and love on top of my rulers. Okay. And of course I've worked myself into a little corner over here, but that's okay. All right, so I cut this and I pull these away and I cut here. Now Kate on the last homely house goes forwards and backwards with her rotary cutter. So if Kate can do it, so can I. All right. So here, because I'm so smart, I'm going to have all of these stacks of pieces to make my blocks. Here's my A. Let's see, where's my A? Yep, there's my A. Here's my C. Here's my B. I am just cooking with gas. Now I do want to change the way these are stacked. Well, that kind of defeats my purpose. Okay, so here I fold over A and B, and they go together nicely. Then I'll add my C, and then here I can fold over my D and my E. Life is good. I can chain piece those. This goes over here. This goes over here. And then I come to pieces that are upside down. And it did not dawn on me at the time that I had stacked fabric because I folded it over. I had some fabric that was right side up and some fabric that was right side down. So here I have these pieces that are not facing the right way. So when I flip them over to where I can see the print, I have a little issue. They're not going to fit together correctly. So much for my, smarty pants ways. If you do this, there is a way to fix it. So I've got all my ruler pieces. What I discovered that I can do is I can put my ruler pieces upside down, flip it so that the side that normally would be facing up is facing this way. And then I can arrange my pieces in a mirror image. So my D will be on the right next to E. My B will be on the left of my A. My C will be on the left of my B. And these pieces will all fit together if I can get my cat out of the way, like they are supposed to. Okay, wait a minute. My D, is that right? D, E, A. What's wrong? Is my B upside down? Yep, my B was upside down. Okay, there we go. So I've got all of my pieces that fit together to make my block. So I go this way. Let me pick up my ruler pieces. So here, this folds over this way, and then this folds over this way, and this will be over here. Let me put these together real quick so I can show you what they look like. You are a pain in the bootay, buddy. So here I've got the two different sets. So here I have put A, B, and C together. I'll turn it this way. And then here I've put D and E together. Now, of course, this is my backwards. So it's A, B, C, and D, and E. But what I like to do is put A, B, and C together, and then D and E. So I'll chain piece all these, and then I will fold this over, and I have my block. Can someone please tell me how I can have a giant stack of D and E and no ABC? Where did they go? I have some C's. I have a B. Some more C's. I have E's and I have D's. What in the world happened to all my A's? Somebody is stealing A's and B's. I only have one B. Regardless, I was able to create quite a few blocks. Did they turn out the way that I planned them? This one did, but I think that one's one of the originals. Oh, this one did. But for the majority of them, they did not. But that's okay, because I really think I'm going to like the way this quilt turns out. All right, meet me at the design wall. Where? Where are my A, B, and C? I don't understand. If I had those A, B, C parts, I'd have all kinds of blocks. Right now, I'm just going to put the blocks up anyway and see what we get. All right. Wow, that looks really cool when I look at it in the camera. Now, let's try something. Okay, so I cut 8.5-inch blocks out of my background fabric. Now I just have to figure out how to put them in. Because when I look in there, when I look, not looking, like when I look that way, it doesn't look nearly as cool as what you're seeing through the camera. So let's see. How about, let's try this. So now it still looks a little cool. So how about so we've just added to the bottom. Hey, what do we think about that? I kind of like that. So if we make, I need 2 more blocks. I'll be right back. I only had to make 1 extra block because I left that on my table. All right, so we're gonna put this here, this here, and I cut out 2 more 8.5-inch squares of the dark. Okay, I like it. What do you all think? I like the gradation of the light to the dark. I think I need 1 more row. What do you think? But before I do that, I want to thank Fat Tuesday Fabrics and especially Lucy, who has been so kind and generous. She donated to the Three Amigas Quilt Retreat. She sent me a charm roll. And I have some ideas swirling around in my head on what to do with this charm roll. So coming up in a future video, I'm going to be doing something with this lovely little piece of fabric. Isn't that fun? I'm picturing not cutting and sewing on where it looks like it should be cut, and you would never even know that it was a single roll of fabric. Let me know if you have any ideas for this in the comments below. Thank you, Lucy, for being so supportive. I would like to ask, if you're looking for fabrics, please go out to Fat Tuesday's website, and I'll put a link in the description below. Okay, I have now added the bottom row. I'm liking it. Still don't know where all my ABC half blocks went, but you know, it's okay. Now I'm going to put all these blocks together. I'm going to do this. Now the beauty of this quilt is, yeah, I have it laid out like this. Does it matter if it turns out like this? It does not. Now, the beauty of this crazy 8-inch or 8.5-inch block is you do not have to match seams. So here is my finished vertical row. I will do the same thing, or vertical column. I'll call it a column. I'm going to do the same thing for each column, and then I will join them long ways. Are you ready for the big reveal? There you go. Now I have a question. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I did find 2 of my AB units and a whole stack of C's on the floor. So maybe when I'm cleaning up, I'll find some more. Okay, I need your help. I have to decide, and I'm going to look to you to make that decision for me, because you know, who wants to have the burden of making a decision? So here is option 1. I want a border. And this is the background fabric. It goes from light to dark, so it's kind of an ombre. And I can put that all the way around the quilt. Or a little more fun option would be to take the fabric that is also ombre, or maybe even a little bit more than ombre, and put 3 strips as the border and use all the different fabrics that make up the crazy blocks. So these are just 3 of them, but I could use 3-inch strips and cut enough to go all the way around the quilt, 3 borders all the way around. I like that one. So let me know. Gray ombre border, 3, what are we going to call that? 3 gradiated color borders. Or we could just put 3 strips of the Riley Blake border. Not 3 strips. Oh, ma! Okay, so 1 gray border, 3 colorful borders. Let me know. Another thing that I wanted to point out, I have all of this negative space in the middle of my quilt. I have taken a class by Angela Walters, and it's available to anybody. I will put it in the description below. It was one of her free motion quilting challenges of what to do with negative space. So I have all of this negative space in the middle, but then I also have negative space, like this block is negative space. These are negative space. Most of this block is negative space. Now on these, I thought I would just do an outline or an inline of the shape. So here I would make a kind of a Dresden shape, and here whatever shape that is. and this would be a triangle. So I was thinking about doing that kind of thing on the blocks that also feature the Riley Blake fabric. So let me know what you think. I'm picturing a giant swirl chain and pebbles and paisleys, and I'm probably getting in a little over my head. I also have a membership. Now the membership is a monthly fee of $4.99, and we meet once a month for a sit and sew. This is an opportunity for you to ask me your questions face to face. Or if you are struggling with a project and you want my opinion, because I love giving my opinion, I will share that with you. So if you are interested, click on the join button. Now this is not anything that you have to do. I am not going to give more content to people who are memberships, although you might see my videos early. This is just for people who are interested in supporting my channel and supporting me, and who want to get an opportunity for some one-on-one time, or one-on, however many come to the sit and sew. There you go. Alrighty, have a great day. Eat some chocolate and be kind to everyone. And I have one of my faves right here. I believe that Jan gave this to me at the retreat. She spoiled the 3 Quilt Amigas, let me tell you. Now see, this is the good stuff because it's got caramel that is stringy. Stringy, runny caramel, yummy. Until next time, bye.